Welcome to this week's Movie Math, where Marvel Studios prove they can open a movie whenever they damn well please. In an effort to break out of an overcrowded and ultra-competitive summer movie season, Captain America: The Winter Soldier opened a month early and ended up starting the summer movie season a month early. While Disney and Sony are said to play nice as Marvel bedfellows, Sony has got to be somewhat ticked off that Steve Rogers stole some of Peter Parker's thunder. Yes, it was Spidey who was supposed to kick things off May 2nd. See, that first weekend in May has been a coveted release date, and going forward, Marvel has booked it for 2015, 2016, where they're currently playing chicken with Batman vs. Superman, and 2017. Then in 2018, Sony has reserved it for The Amazing Spider-Man 4. But will Winter Soldier's success devalue those bookings? We'll get our answer in just a few weeks when we see the effect this early start has on The Amazing Spider-Man 2's debut. Now, this April release date wasn't unprecedented, as Universal has enjoyed success here with their Fast and Furious franchise, opening both the 4th and 5th installments in April. And those are the two movies Captain America: The Winter Soldier bested to become the biggest debut ever for the month. Whatever was wrong with Captain America on his first outing, Marvel Studios has clearly fixed, as in just 2 weeks the sequel has outperformed the original flick overseas, and in 3 weeks is likely to surpass the first film's entire global haul. This is another notch in Marvel's box office belt, and another example of how Disney has truly become the Yankees of Hollywood, buying their roster. Thanks to Captain America 2, they've already crossed the $1 billion mark for the year, and they still have Maleficent, Guardians of the Galaxy, Big Hero 6, and Into the Woods to go. Also, they made headlines over the weekend when it was divulged that Star Wars Episode 7 has already begun shooting and casting is almost complete. Meanwhile, Frozen just passed The Dark Knight Rises to become the 9th most successful film of all time, and one of Disney's 7 films in the $1 billion club, more than any other studio. Is this the new Mickey Mouse Club? Speaking of $1 billion, that's now the big question. Recap 2. Will it too be getting mouse ears? Considering the other studios have just given it the entire month of April, odds are looking pretty good. Which brings me to the heart of the matter. To date, studios have positioned their movies defensively, working to protect their considerable investments. But perhaps it's time they start scheduling movies offensively as well. Why has no studio thought to try and undercut Captain America: The Winter Soldier with a strong mid-April release? Why did no studio offer up any counter-programming this past weekend, a tried-and-true box office strategy? Hollywood has been wondering what to do with mid-priced picks. Perhaps they should use them offensively. Relatively low-cost wild cards that they can either afford to take a loss on or surprise hits with a high rate of return. And either way, they're likely to do at least some damage and potentially quite a bit to the competition. Warner Brothers should take a stand May 6, 2016, instead of letting Marvel Studios waltz into the #1 spot once again. And hey, that would also mean that the only way for Warner Brothers to effectively compete with Captain America 3 would be to make a movie of the same overall quality or better, and then we win. Yes, if Batman vs. Superman moves again, that will be like Warner Brothers publicly admitting it's crap. As for the rest of the box office, Noah appears to be more mere mortal than originally anticipated, as it dropped about 60% in its second weekend. That's a good 10% more than Robin Hood's drop in its second weekend, and therefore Noah would be lucky to at least equal the 2010 flick's numbers. The two Russell Crowe films have something else in common: huge budgets that aren't particularly visible on screen and result in both films being in the red when they should be in the black. Then while Divergent has been able to hold relatively steady in terms of the current top 10, it's beginning to lose perhaps too much ground in comparison to the original Twilight. If Lionsgate Summit can't get those foreign numbers to go higher soon, a sequel might begin to look like a bad business decision. Then two strong performers took a bit of a stumble. God's Not Dead fell 12% in its third weekend, while the Grand Budapest Hotel, expanding beyond the 1,000 theater mark, which I had advised against last Monday, proved it had reached its saturation point and posted its first drop in its 5th frame. There go the positive headlines. Now it seems Wes Anderson's latest flick might not even match the overall haul of Moonrise Kingdom, much less 2001's The Royal Tenenbaums. Both of those films never went beyond 1,000 theaters. Also, Muppets Most Wanted and Mr. Peabody and Sherman scrounged up some more cash, their last chance to do so before Rio 2 hits this coming weekend. Over in the specialty market, Island of Lemurs Madagascar chose a bad weekend to debut, as it had to compete with Captain America the Winter Soldier for IMAX screens. While Born to Be Wild opened on 206 screens back in 2011, the second nature flick for Warner Brothers had to settle for 37. However, Scarlett Johansson doubled down this weekend and won big, as in addition to her turn as Black Widow, her role as a real Black Widow in Under the Skin delivered an impressive per-theater average. If she can stick the landing with Lucy this August, Marvel Studios might not be able to hold out much longer on that solo Black Widow movie. And why shouldn't they cash in on her success, as they're the ones who made her a box office draw? As for this coming weekend, Rio 2 is set to open on par with the first entry, which is better than recent family films Mr. Peabody and Sherman and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, yet nowhere near the level of Frozen and the Lego Movie. Meanwhile, Oculus and Draft Day will battle it out for third and fourth place, as Cap and Friends are likely to lead the frame once again. And that's the weekend box office. I'm Grace Randolph, and we just did some movie math. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope we'll go beyond the trailer for these other top movies.